Maybe a burnout or two, or?
I'm sure you'll figure something out.
Just laying strips everywhere we're going, this thing.
Hey guys, Stephanie and Justin from AmericanMuscle.com here with a new episode of Hot Lap for you. Now in this episode, we're gonna show you some work that Justin recently did with our 2016 F150 truck. We have some Mustang news and of course a product break as well.
But first, while we were on our West Coast swing here with AM, we stopped by to see our friends over at Hurst. They gave us the keys to their Hurst Elite Series Mustang, had some fun, whipped some donies, and yeah, check it out. While out in California, we figured it'd be a great idea to stop by and see our friends here from Hurst. And with me today, Mark Emerson from Hurst. What's going on, Mark?
How you doing?
Good, man. Now, obviously, Hurst, legendary shifter company, been around since the 50s. And you guys are still doing your thing pretty much here today as well,
yeah, there's
right?
a lot of new products out for all the new applications.
That's awesome, man. Now, I know this is a smaller location in the grand scheme of things, but one that still is very busy, correct?
Yeah, we have our quality control here, and we assemble all the components, all the different shifters and things that we offer now, and then get them out to our shipping warehouse and get out to the customer.
Very cool. I can't wait to see that stuff, but more importantly, I also understand you have a Mustang here.
Yeah, we got our Mustang.
The Hurst Elite Series Mustang with all the Hurst Elite parts, and we can check that out. Maybe go for a ride?
We'll see what we can do.
All right, let's do it. All right, Mark, so what's going on in here, man?
Well, this is our quality control area. So here is where we inspect all the components as they come in before we send them out to assembly and get them out to the customer. So Gary here right now is inspecting this particular shifter stick, making sure that everything is in the right location, all the angles are correct and everything, so when it's assembled and put into the vehicle, it's going to be the same every time. The throw is going to be correct as far as the percentages, the reduction in the throw. Clearances will be correct as far as, not hitting the console and not hitting the dash or anything like that. So we just make sure that everything is the way we designed it, again, before we package it and get it off to the customer.
That's pretty impressive. You do that with pretty much almost every lever that comes in here, I guess?
Every lever and every component we check as they come in to make sure it's the way we want it to be.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. And then from here, it does go to packaging, which does happen in-house as well?
Yeah, we pre-assemble a lot of the components and then package everything up and get it off to the warehouse.
Awesome. Can we check that out next?
Sure, let's go.
Cool. Gary, keep playing with your stick. Well, Mark, we just left QC, and what are we looking at here, man?
This area here is where we do all the packaging of all the finished goods components, get everything all bundled up and off to the warehouse so we can ship it to the consumer.
And I understand you're actually assembling some shifters over here, correct?
Yeah, right over here they're putting together one of the race shifters. You can take a look at that.
All right.
Well, here we're assembling one of our pistol grip quarter stick automatic shifters. So you can see they kind of work together, doing one side at a time, making sure all the components go together correctly and everything after they've obviously come from QC. Then they'll fully assemble the shifter, double check that it functions correctly and everything before it gets packaged up and shipped out.
So hand assembled, everything is done, quality checked.
Yep.
So the guys at home are getting a proper working shifter
Exactly.
the moment they unbox it. Well, this is all very cool stuff, don't get me wrong, but I'm a Mustang guy at heart. I hear you have a Mustang. I'm like a kid in a candy store, so can you go check that thing out and see some of your parts?
Yeah, it's right over here.
All right. What do you got going on back here, man? I hear some welding going on. I wouldn't think that happened here.
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything here. Right now, Nick, one of our welders, is working on an R&D project.
Okay.
Working on some future items that are going to be coming out soon. So
Nice.
I can't tell you exactly what it is just yet, but we'll let you guys know when it's all ready.
We'll have to stay tuned.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's get back to this Mustang real quick. Now, before we get into all this, man, why break out from shifters and all that stuff? Why go into exhaust and springs? I mean, because this isn't typically what you guys are known for, correct?
Correct, but you got to remember, back in the 60s, Hurst was teaming up with a lot of the OEs and making cars, Hurst Olds, things like that. And even for a while here in the late 2000s, Hurst was making their own performance vehicles again while we were selling complete cars. And so we wanted to kind of go back and offer the customer the ability to kind of piece together their own vehicle in a sense. Have something similar without the high-end costs associated with it.
Cool, so you get some of the highlights from those cars, but for the everyday consumer.
Exactly, and they can buy either, the package complete, or they can go ahead and just piece it together if they want to over time, whatever's easiest.
Well, let's break down this package, because I think on the surface here, I know you have some aesthetic stuff going on.
Yeah,
with the
the first thing that a lot of people will notice is we have the Hurst Performance logo, the quarter panel ones, also side windows, and the ones on the back as well. We also have the floor mats. They're offered, in this case, to be the red ones, just like the stickers, and we've also got them in gold as well.
Very nice, but that's, the appearance stuff is all cool and all, but I like the functional, parts that move, right? Starting with this shifter, can we hop in and take a look at that thing?
Yeah, we got our Competition Plus shifter in here.
Let's take a look at it. All right, Mark, so this is something that's very familiar looking to me. I've had a few of these in my cars over the day. What's going on with the Hurst shifter here in the Mustang?
That's our Competition Plus for the 15 through 17 models. Real nice unit, you know, obviously it has that kind of retro hot rod race car look to it with the chrome stick and the white knob there. It has a 38% reduction in shifter travel, a lot more precise shifting, a lot firmer feel when you're driving. Kind of has the retro stick there for the reverse lockout.
Kind of pull up and then throw it in reverse
Yep.
there. I like that a lot.
Yeah, real cool shifter, and just kind of great way to help round out the package.
And a classic look too, right? If it ain't
Yeah.
broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
I know we have some other big parts here in the Hurst kind of package. Can we check those out?
Yeah, I've got them right over here.
All right, cool. All right, Mark, so it looks like we got some stuff going on here. Some interesting stuff, of course. Let's start with these springs, man. What's up with these?
Yeah, these are our Hurst Elite Series springs. They're a linear rate spring. Drop the car about 1 inch, so reduce the gap between the tire and the fender, give a little bit more of a performance look to the car. They're not competition springs, but just really good enthusiast springs. Nice, comfortable ride is retained when you're just kind of driving on the freeway normally and things like that. But when you get to a nice twisty road or something, these do perform a lot better, a lot less body roll and everything.
Because a lot of guys in the aftermarket will go with a progressive spring, but I think a linear spring is nice because I think the spring itself is a little bit more predictable. You have a standard spring rate, you know what you're going to get as far as spring rate is concerned.
Exactly.
And the 1 inch drop, again, just the magic number I think with the S550.
Yeah, it's a great look. Not too low where you're hitting everything on the road, but just enough to really change the look and the attitude of the car,
Absolutely.
and obviously the handling as well.
Absolutely. And my favorite part, exhaust, man. Let's talk about this a little bit more.
This system here, it's all 304 stainless. It has a lifetime warranty on it. It's all mandrel bent, as you can see here, so there's no kinks in the system. Maximize the performance of the engine. Uses our X-pipe to help balance out the system, retain the good sound. It also helps kind of control drone a little bit more. These are Hurst Elite Series mufflers. We partnered up with Flowmaster to kind of help design these things for us, and they have a good, comfortable sound inside. You don't get a lot of drone while you're cruising. They stay fairly mellow, but when you get on it a bit, they come alive, so to speak. You get a really nice, deep performance tone, good rumble at idle, just a great overall sound with them.
That's awesome, man. Well, my personal experience, there's really no better way to test these parts than to get behind the wheel, drive them a little bit, thrash on them. Looks like a relatively nice day here in Sacramento. What do you think we can take this thing out and have some fun?
I think we can work something out there.
Any recommendations for fully testing these parts out? Maybe a burnout or two, or?
I'm sure you'll figure something out, right?
I like where you're going with that. Okay. Well, let's hit the road. Well, it's a lovely day to be out in a Mustang, wouldn't you say? And we're gonna go for a little spin. This isn't the craziest Mustang we've ever been in or the most modified by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a Mustang, we can have fun, right? So on the surface, very simple parts. So starting with those springs, the Hurst Elite Series springs, just the magic number when it comes to lowering springs, right? 1 inch, both front and rear. Enough to keep that rake, but at the same time get rid of that wheel gap. And these are a standard rate spring. These aren't a progressive rate spring, so what you see is what you get. We've had experience with the Hurst shifter in the past. It's awesome. It's a nostalgia piece, and it works in a Mustang because the Mustang is kind of a nostalgic car. Sure, they keep pushing the design forward, but it still hangs onto that retro feel. And I think the same can be said for Hurst as a company. Sure, it's a modern shifter. It's a multi-link shifter, it's billet, it's built well, but it still looks like the same shifter I had in my 4-speed Muncie car back when I was 19. It just works, and it's a great looking shift knob, and it's an even better feeling shifter. And it's honestly everything you want out of a short shifter. It looks the part, and it still nails its #1 job of reducing your throws. But the star of these parts, in my opinion, the Hurst Elite Series exhaust is just a really nicely made part. There's no secret it's made by Flowmaster, but it's different. It's different than your typical Flowmaster stuff. And there's a reason for that. They take some different approaches with the Hurst Elite system. You can point out a Flowmaster muffler in a lineup of mufflers. They just have a very distinct look, much like their distinct sound. The Elite Series is not that. It's a stuffed muffler with a packing material. Unlike Flowmaster, which uses more metal and just solid baffles, it's a deeper tone. But at the same time, it's a unique tone, and one that I think is unique to this particular exhaust. And I think the Hurst Elite does a good job of distinguishing itself amongst other exhaust systems, Flowmaster being a big one, even though it is made by the iconic brand. So it's a great sounding exhaust to go with. Just really nice parts that accentuate the performance pack GT that we're in. This is awesome. Not a bad day at the office. And to complete the experience, I'm also gonna have some In-N-Out burger. Why not? Well, you know, the guys at Hurst said their best way to test this stuff out is to do a couple burnouts, so let's do it. What do you say? Yeah, no complaints here on the springs. Let's see how it goes the other way, maybe. Thanks to the guys at Hurst. We had a blast, but we're out of here.
This episode's product break is going to feature the new RTR Spec 2 chin spoiler for 2015 and newer Mustangs. Now, love it or hate it, this thing offers a different and bold look for sure. It's going to integrate the fog light area into the actual chin spoiler and give you one solid piece in the front end of the Mustang. It also perfectly matches a set of RTR side splitters, just in case you guys were wondering. And if you're interested, you can always head over to the product page and check it out more for yourselves. Alright guys, contest announcement time, and a pretty cool contest at that. AmericanMuscle is giving you a chance to totally transform your Mustang with my help. We're giving away $7,000 worth of free parts from AmericanMuscle and a free install as well. So you guys pick the parts to make your dream Mustang. I make sure they get to you. Gotta go to AmericanMuscle.com/win in order to enter. Contest starts February 1st and it ends on March 31st. You guys can enter once a week up until the end of the contest, and that's at AmericanMuscle.com/win. Guys, make sure you enter. I can't wait to review the final parts list and see what kind of Mustang you want to build.
This is a 2016 Ford F-150, and no, this isn't your typical review. Now, I am going to talk about a few things new for 2016, along with comparing the workhorse 3.5-liter EcoBoost to the newer 2.7-liter EcoBoost, but that's where the review in a traditional sense is going to end. From there, we build. So hang out with me as we quickly kick around a few specs, talk about some basic impressions, and then give this thing the mods, the lift, and the power needed to be a fitting member of the AM fleet. So what is new for 2016? Well, honestly, not a lot. This is still the aluminum-bodied truck on that lightweight steel frame that kind of revolutionized the truck market last year when the F-150 was redesigned and re-released. But other than that, there are a few new things for the model year, including new colors, including shadow black and lithium gray, a few new trim packages, including the return of the Limited and the Sync 3 infotainment system. None of which apply to this truck here, with the one lone exception of the Pro Assist trailer backup feature, another new thing for 2016. Now, before we go any further, let's address the obvious, and that is the fact that this Blue Flame XL is a base truck in every sense of the word. I mean, we're a set of vinyl seats away from being a full-blown fleet truck here. But nevertheless, there are a few features to talk about, including the Sport package, which does give us color-matched front and rear bumpers. This truck does come equipped with the 331 locking rear differential. It also comes with a 36-gallon extended range fuel tank and the 6.5-foot bed and super cab configuration. Powering the truck, we have the tried and true 3.5-liter EcoBoost power plant, making 365 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque, backed by the 6R80 transmission, a proven combination ever since being introduced back in 2011. But this model year, 2016, actually marks the final year for both this engine and transmission in its current configuration. The 2017 model year trucks will actually usher in an updated 3.5-liter EcoBoost power plant equipped with new turbos, a new valve train, and a few other goodies, raising the torque output 30 foot-pounds in the process, while horsepower will remain the same at 365. Again, Ford is ditching that 6-speed automatic trans for 2017 in favor of a brand new 10-speed automatic trans, a big change for the Blue Oval. Ford actually claims improved acceleration and fuel economy here with the new trans, and honestly, it makes sense because because that many gears allows for a numerically lower gear ratio in the rear, improving highway fuel economy in the process. So again, guys, 2017 is a very exciting time for the F-150, which unfortunately leaves us with a lame duck model year here at the 2016, for lack of a better term. But that doesn't mean we can't have some fun, so what do you say we get to work? All right, first up, let's talk about this new ride height, guys, because honestly, the truck, yes, it's sitting a lot higher, and that's thanks to the Zone Off-Road 4-inch full suspension lift kit that we did install with this particular truck. In my opinion, 4 inches, it's just the magic number when it comes to the newer F-150s in regards to ride height, because yes, the truck looks awesome, obviously leveled out a little bit more. We can stuff some bigger wheels and tires under here, which we'll talk about in a minute. But at the same time, it's not crazy, it's not over the top, and you don't need a damn step ladder to get in and out of the thing. On top of that, the truck really doesn't drive much different from a factory truck. Sometimes with those bigger lift kits, I'm talking 6 inches plus, depending on your suspension, the truck can act a little goofy on the road, maybe feel a little bit more top heavy. That's certainly not the case here with the Zone 4-inch kit. And believe me, guys, I would know because I have the exact same lift kit installed in my personal 2015 F-150. It's been installed for over 20,000 miles now, and I have absolutely no complaints. Now, those leveling kits, sure, they're great. They have their place. They're definitely affordable. They're going to be a lot easier to install. However, the full suspension lift kits like the Zone Off-Road kit here comes with everything you need to properly get the truck in the air. I'm talking cross members, drop knuckles, you name it, it includes it. And it's gonna maintain proper suspension geometry, including those CV angles. Sure, they're gonna be a lot more expensive than those leveling kits. They're not gonna be as fun to install, believe me, but the payoff is definitely worth it. The payoff here in this case, guys, is the ability to stuff a much bigger wheel and tire under your truck, and that's certainly the case now with our rig. Check these things out. 20x9 fuel trophy wheel. It's their matte black option with their gunmetal trim ring. They call it Anthracite on the site. It's kind of got the faux beadlock look going on. I personally think it's a sharp wheel. Now, these fuel wheels are wrapped with the matching fuel mud gripper tires. It's a 35 by 12.5 by 20. Some guys might prefer the look of a slightly bigger sidewall using a slightly smaller wheel. I think the 20s look great here on our truck. Full disclosure, we did try a set of 33s on this particular rig. Didn't look terrible, it just looked a little small in my opinion, so 35s are definitely where it's at because let's face it, guys, these are big trucks, they have bold lines and therefore need a big wheel and tire to complement that. But maybe one of the best things about the wheel and tire and lift combo that we went with here is the fact that there's no rubbing anywhere, lock to lock. And a big portion of that is due to the 20x9 wheels that we're using. They feature a +20 offset. What's that mean? Well, there's really not gonna be a whole lot of poke here with these wheels. Instead, they're gonna fit very much like a factory wheel. However, with the one big benefit of not having to modify or cut our crash bars, something myself and a lot of fellow F-150 owners know all too well. Now, the lower you go or the more aggressive you get with those offsets, the more you have to worry about your rubbing. Well, that's not a concern of ours. Now, the lift wheels and tires added a good amount of appearance on their own to our otherwise stock-looking truck here, but we did also add some subtle and not so subtle appearance parts to this thing as well. Let's first start with one of those not so subtle parts, the Bushwacker Max Coverage Pocket Flare Set. Definitely gonna be for the truck owners out there who prefer that little bit more wild styling, as these things are one of the most aggressive in Bushwacker's lineup. They do come complete with the fake hardware or faux rivets. Some people might like that, others might not. They do also come in this matte black finish here, which in my opinion pulls in our trophy wheels really well. However, if you're not a big fan of that big contrast, you can always spray these things to match your truck. And the best part is they install easily with no drilling. We also installed the Raxiom Horizon LED smoke taillights to the F-150 just to give the rear of the truck a little bit more personality. Now, I know, probably not everyone's favorite type of beer out there, but there are some cool things to talk about, so just bear with me. Now, this is a unique appearance here, or a unique approach to a smoke lens, because what Raxiom did was use a lightly smoked lens in conjunction with a black housing. So it gives the lights a much darker appearance, but without hurting the output of the actual LED or the light itself. But maybe the coolest thing about the Horizon taillights from Raxiom are the dual infinity center reflectors, they're calling them, which the best way I can describe these things, guys, is that if you've ever been in a room with a mirror on both sides, you see your reflection. If you look into them, that light just seems to go on for infinity. And it's definitely, again, not for everybody out there, but it is certainly unique. Now the next part isn't much of an appearance part, but it's a very useful part and we really don't have to go too far to see it. It's the Tonno Pro Trifold tonneau cover for the 6.5-foot bed. Now because the XL is kind of a budget build that we have going on here at the shop, we figured we'd throw the Tonno Pro on because it serves a purpose but without breaking the bank. Now this thing literally takes 5 minutes to install and can be removed just as easily thanks to the tri-fold design, and that's great if we ever need to haul around a toolbox, furniture, bumpers, things like that. It really does come in handy. Now speaking of purposeful mods, we also installed a set of the Barricade 3-inch side steps to help us get in and out now that we have a little bit more altitude with that Zone off-road kit. There's really not a whole lot to say about these other than they're affordable, they're black, they're built well, and they serve their purpose. Now, even though this is primarily gonna be our shop truck, our parts hauler, or our tow rig, doesn't mean we can't make things a little faster and just a little bit louder, right? I mean, come on guys, we were a Mustang company first. Giving things more power is kind of in our DNA. So first up, yes, we threw an exhaust on a V6, and no, it doesn't sound that bad. I get it, V8s will always sound better. Nobody is arguing that. However, the 3.5 can sound pretty good given the right system. The right system in this case is the MagnaFlow MF Series catback, which does dump before the passenger side rear tire, as you can see here. A very cool look, and one that gives the V6 just a little bit more tone, but without being over the top. Well guys, as you can see, the truck is over here on the dyno jet. We did swap out those heavy 35s in the rear for the stock wheels and tires, just for a more accurate number here on the dyno. Already knocked out our baseline numbers as well. Pretty average numbers, about 308 horsepower, 340 pound-feet of torque, again, at the wheels. Truck is advertised at more than that, of course, but that is flywheel numbers that you're hearing. Now, we went to work installing some modifications again for the power stuff here, starting with the Injen Evolution cold air intake. A really nice intake. It's built very well. It is a sealed air box here with a dry filter inside. And one of the nice little things about this intake, it comes with a built-in kind of filter minder, so you don't have to open that thing up every few months and check the condition. It'll tell you when it's time to clean that filter. Now, it is a no tune required intake, but come on, what's the fun in that? We're gonna throw on one of MPT Tuning's 93 octane custom tunes here to our 2016 3.5 Ecoboost. These tunes have been known to really wake up these Ecoboost power plants, so we're gonna upload the tune, fill this thing up with 93 octane, run it again here on the dyno jet, take it out for a spin, and we'll break down those numbers. All right, so here we are. We're in the 2016 3.5 Ecoboost. It's mainly a parts hauler. It's gonna be doing most of our towing duties because let's be honest, the 3.5 in the F150 lineup, I mean, these things are just superior in towing compared to the 5.0. Not superior in sound. We all know this. This isn't anything new. And yes, we did throw in the MagnaFlow. But at the same time, this has got a mellow tone to it, the MagnaFlow, the MF. It's one of my favorites for the Ecoboost for that reason. It doesn't try to make the truck anything it's not. It doesn't try to make it sound like a V8, although if you can make a truck sound like a V8, you'd be onto something. Just laying strips everywhere we're going, this thing, so. Oh yeah, it rips. Thanks to the guys at MPT. These guys know what they're doing. They have the Ecoboost stuff figured out. This is another one of their PRX tunes, their Performance Extreme tune. Therefore, it's gonna hit hard, man. The power is definitely there. They're probably one of the best tuners when it comes to giving you options. They have performance, they have towing, they have economy, they have hybrids of all three. The truck rides really good, it handles good. Like I said, when you keep things kind of simple in this regard from a lift standpoint, you're not really throwing the truck for a loop as far as geometry, things like that. It still behaves, the road manners, all that stuff, very similar to a factory ride quality. But let's talk dyno numbers. Now, baseline pull with this thing, no modifications, no tune. They put down 308 horsepower and 341 pound-feet of torque. Pretty standard stuff, really, for these things. But with the MPT tune, the 93 octane PRX tune uploaded, That truck is now making 370 horsepower and 410 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels. Now that's pretty substantial, guys. In fact, you're looking at gains of 62 horsepower and 69 foot-pounds of torque peak just over those baseline numbers, but as usual, bigger gains underneath the curve. 82 horsepower, 74 foot-pounds of torque, and that's power you're gonna feel way down low, light to light, when towing, whatever, and that's what you really wanna pay attention to. Well, like they say, all good things must come to an end, and smaller build, but with a purpose for the old shop truck here. Thanks for watching, guys, and for more truck builds and Mustang builds, you know what to do. Keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com. All right, guys, we've got some absolutely huge news in the Mustang world. Yes, the 2018 Mustang has been released, and I'm gonna cover this thing, both exterior and interior changes, along with everything else we've learned in the recent days. But let's go all around the car, guys. Let's break things down, and let's start up front because honestly, everything from the windshield forward is completely new, and it's the most polarizing part of the entire car. Now, Ford decided to go completely crazy with the sharp angles up front here, changed up the headlight design completely, changed up the grille a little bit, and lowered the nose of the car nearly 20 millimeters, all in an attempt to give the car a meaner or more aggressive appearance. There are a few things I'm digging up front, including the new hood for 2018 featuring some vents similar to those found on the 03 and 04 Cobras, a big departure from the vents found on the 15 through 17 cars. I also like some of the new LED lighting up front, including the tri-bar gills. Again, they were on the 15 to 17 car, but for 2018, they've been given a new angular look. Some things I'm not a fan of. Well, I'm still on the fence about the new shape of the headlights themselves, and I'm really not digging the gloss black grille because in my opinion, it's kind of contrasting with some of the other plastic parts found up front, namely the black area around the lower grille and the chin spoiler area. The gloss black with the matte black, again, just kind of clashes and just doesn't really flow. Under that newly redesigned hood for 2018, you're gonna find a more potent Coyote and Ecoboost engine. Those are gonna be your two choices. And as we reported in last month's Hot Lap, that 3.7 V6 has been put out to pasture. The Ecoboost is gonna pick up a little bit more torque, but the Coyote is definitely the big story here, guys. Picking up more power and more torque thanks to the new style fuel injection. It's getting a combination of both direct injection and port injection, along with a pretty sizable bump in compression, going from 11-to-1 to a 12-to-1, thanks largely in part to that DI setup. Now, obviously more power is to be expected here in addition to a higher revving engine, but I'm hoping that number is somewhere north of the 450 range to make this thing a little bit more competitive with the Alpha chassis Camaro. As far as your transmission options, guys, well, your manual 6-speed will be back, of course, no specifics yet, but what we have heard is that you're gonna be seeing a twin disc clutch option in addition to a dual mass flywheel for the GT, while the automatic option will be that 10-speed that we told you guys about earlier in a Hot Lap episode. But let's move on to the side of the car, and not a whole lot has changed here. This is a great time, however, to mention your new wheel options, up to 12 according to Ford, including what we're showing you here. And one real winner, in my opinion, these 19-inch forged aluminum options, which to me resemble the CCW 505. Moving on to the rear of the car, which I think we can all agree is a complete home run with the 2018 Mustang. Little changes to the bumper and to the taillights, of course, have been given more of an angular look and match those tri-bar LEDs found in the headlights. You're looking at a couple of different spoiler options as well, but the biggest win in the rear of the car is no doubt the standard quad-tip exhaust system on every single Mustang GT with the optional active exhaust system, much like the GT 350 and 350R. And as a cherry on top, Ford finally ditched that goofy color match rear valance on the 15 to 17 cars. Stepping inside the car for the very first time, you'll notice some subtle changes throughout the interior, but without a doubt the biggest change is this all-new, all-digital 12-inch beige cluster that looks absolutely sick. It's going to give you a few different options in regards to configuration, give you a standard mode, a track mode, a combination of the two, and guys, I think this is a huge win for the Mustang and is something I'm personally very excited about. So when are you gonna be able to get your hands on a 2018 Mustang? Well, they are hitting dealer lots come fall of 2017, but I'm guessing you're gonna see a lot of these things at your local shows in the spring and summertime months leading up to the big release in the fall. Now, as far as final pricing and horsepower figures, well, as soon as we learn more info, we'll be sure to bring it to you guys. Keep it locked to our blog or Mustang News here at AmericanMuscle.com. As for my final thoughts on the 2018 Mustang, at least as of now, well, I'm with you guys. I didn't think this thing was all that great looking at first, but after a few days, it's starting to grow on me. So ultimately, I'm gonna reserve final judgment until I see one of these things in person. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed our brief little tour of the Hurst facilities out in California, along with our test drive and our shop truck build. I know some of you are a little bummed because she wasn't in it that much this time around, but sounds like you got some big plans next month.
I do. I have a lot coming up for my car. I'm actually looking at some pretty cool parts sitting over there, but I'm not going to give anything away right now. If you guys want to see, you're going to have to watch next month's episode of Hot Lap. But for now, thanks for watching, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.